Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of On the Mic with Mike. I'm your host, Mike Larkin, and joining me today, you can see her doing her thing, doing her strip thing, if you know what I'm saying. You can see her doing her thing cam model-wise. You can see her doing her thing as an overall model, the content creator, the one, the only, Miss Kendal Grae. How are you, Kendal?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. First and foremost, I got to tell you, you are definitely a woman, a Jill of all trades, if you will. We're going to get into a lot of stuff here in today's forum. I got to say, first and foremost, when you look at the stripper side of things, we're going to talk about American Dream Gentlemen's Club. I've always viewed this because I'm sure we've all known someone who works at a strip club or does that life in entertainment. I think the videos that we've seen definitely showcases your assets, pun intended. Dare I say, bootylicious vibes. I'm going to say it right now, bootylicious vibes. Somebody put on some Destiny's Child. You definitely showcase a lot of things that really exude and accentuate you for the overall work of art and beauty that you obtain. And I think when you look at the strip club, a lot of people will poo-poo on it just like, oh, they're working at the strip club. But at the end of the day, too, it's a business. It sets boundaries of where you can and cannot touch. Don't touch the performers. And at the end of the day, too, it's an entertainment. And people view sex in sort of like a weird way when it's just like, okay, we see it in different music videos where they showcase strippers and that lifestyle and entertainment. We see it in so many different avenues. So I got to say, what you do on the stripper front is wonderful. And can you please tell us, number two, as a part of that, what kind of gravitated you towards that field? Because we definitely get to see you showcase your sexiness.
Yeah, well, thank you. So actually that was influenced to me by mainly fitness. I would say that it's always kind of been a curiosity of mine. I think the way that I was brought up was very conservative Christian. And so that was a big no-no. And you know what happens when you tell a kid no, they're just going to be more curious. And so that is kind of what happened, I would say, to me. So I'm 26. So the last couple of years, I've just kind of, between having kids and stuff, I've kind of really just neglected myself. And I was like, you know what? Let me start following these influencers on Instagram and on Facebook and, TikTok and all this and just watch. Let me just look and see what catches my eye, because there's different, like there's stripping, there's pole fitness. I mean, you can start in one extreme to, so I started following influencers to kind of get more educated on it. And I came across Red Royal and Jamie, and she just posted content all the time. And I was like, okay, I totally dig her vibe. She's a redhead too. Like she was just the whole vibe in itself. And so I actually messaged her, told her, I was like, hey, you are amazing. I would love to meet you. And sure enough, we were like 45 minutes from each other. So one night, my husband and I went to the club, to American Dream, and met her. And literally they were like, we want to hire you. And so I was like, okay. And my husband's like, go do it. Go try something new for yourself. My first night I was terrified because never in my life have I been so and put in such an exotic environment. So going from, church girl to country church girl to, oh, hey, I'm working at the club, and there was no transition for me. It's been kind of insane.
I look at it like this. First and foremost, it's definitely a hell of a transition.
Right.
And I think number two, to even add to your point, I think what's so great about that too is, first of all, God bless being a mother that you are. Kids are everything and family is everything. Right. I think that is definitely admirable, and I love that about you. I think everything that you've just mentioned there, like the pole fitness vibes, a lot of people don't even realize the fitness aspect and how it really keeps you in tune with yourself. And that is one of the main things, is to stay positively proactive. But also at the same time, too, to go on to your point, when you're going in this field, it's definitely got to be terrifying for the first time. I say this all the time. Like, when you're going into like cam modeling, or if you're even doing any form of adult entertainment, it's just like, oh, wait a minute here. Now I'm putting myself out here. I'm naked. I'm not even like clothes. I'm naked. I'm doing my stuff, or I'm stripping. I'm doing this exotic dance in this lifestyle. There's also the swingers lifestyles. There's many different things that you have to think into this. But I think with the confidence and the overall stepping out of your comfort zone and really putting yourself out there, that definitely sets the tone for where you're going to go in your life and where your journey takes you.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think one of the biggest things about American Dream that I appreciate and encourage is the minute that I stepped on the stage for the first time. There's so many memes about, your first time stripping, and it's a reaction of, what do I do? And it's like literally like I've seen multiple girls get up there, and the first thing they're like is like they touch the pole, and then they're like, what do I do? And it's amazing because the girls are fantastic. They will walk you through it. They will support you. They will, and it's just an encouraging environment. Now, when it gets busy, it gets a little intimidating the first few nights that you're working there. But I mean, I kind of figured it out really well and pretty easy that like I've lost 90 pounds since doing the stripping, and it's like I got up there the first time and I went home and I was like, my body hurts. Like, this isn't just, it's not just dancing, there's more to it. Like, I couldn't even move my body. I was like, my husband needs to give me a massage. Like, I couldn't move. I went one night that weekend and I started stretching. Jamie's known for stretching at the club. She's always like doing something in the corner, hey, you guys should stretch, da da da. So yeah, I have built up a lot of confidence. I was kind of the shy girl before I got into this, but it has really given me a voice, especially for plus size girls, to get up on that stage. Men love your body, but you have to love your body first. And I think that's been such, what I'm known for is being the curvy girl at American Dream, and I've seen a few other girls get hired at American Dream that are, bigger and smaller than me. And I love to see the diversity of it. I think it's healthy. I think it's a good environment. And I would encourage people that if you're struggling with confidence issues, you need to go try it, honestly.
First of all, I love everything that you just said there. Now let's definitely dive into that. I think one of the things that you also mentioned as well, like being this Christian conservative quiet girl, and I can say this, like a lot of people in my family, and especially where I am here down south, if you mention any type of adult entertainment, because I'll be honest with you, my uncle lives in Charles, South Carolina, which is about an hour where I'm from. There's billboards. Everything is Jesus, Jesus, and the Christian church and this and that. And trust me, I am a man of faith. I am a man of God, but I always look at it like this. Number one, God doesn't make mistakes. And number two, Jesus wants you to love everybody because we are all his children. So if you're judging people, that's not really taken to the overall Catholic Christian vibes and not doing the teachings of what Jesus Christ wants you to do and be. Because I think at the end of the day, too, when it comes to body positivity, that is so keen. I mean, we're back in the days when the 90s, when you're supposed to be portrayed like the Naomi Campbells, the Tyra Bankses of the world, what you see on America's Next Top Model. And I got to say this right now, the curves, the word spins the verb over here with this one over here with your curvaceousness. I look at it from a stance like this. Everybody comes in all different shapes and sizes. Diversity is key in everything. And it's kind of like different flavors of ice cream, right? You don't just always want vanilla. You don't always want chocolate. You want to mix in a variety of everything. So I think when it comes to body positivity, people just need to be themselves. And I can speak from the male point of view on this, Miss Kendal, Grae.
Yeah.
Going throughout life, and as I just turned 34 this year, I've even found this myself looking back at past relationships and just my interactions with the beautiful female species. It's one of the things like this. A lot of girls that were interested, or we had that communication and compatibility, was a lot of the plus size girls because, again, confidence there and just women who are not afraid to put themselves out there and just be proud of who they are, both in here and overall in here. So I got to say, shout out to the plus size girls. So
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because as you look at it, to dive a little deeper into the plus size mind, we're self-conscious. It's not that, we don't have great personalities and stuff, but I think that sometimes we sell ourselves short and we think that we don't deserve whatever type of man that we are into, because the type of man that I'm with now, that's my husband, he is big into fitness. He is a muscle man, like he's huge. And so I think that, years ago, up until, we got together, I was like, no, nobody like that's going to be into me. And like, I was so hard on myself for not chasing what I wanted. And like, I tell girls all the time, hey, if you're into him, chase him, because you never know. So I got the man of my dreams by growing a pair of balls, basically.
Now, beautifully and eloquently said. I've always looked at it like this, like going on to the fact, like I mentioned, shout out to all the plus size girls. I remember as a kid, and I'll tell you straight up and down, like 6 o'clock, since you mentioned the confidence vibes, my friends, if you want to call them that, with how they were acting, would look at me as just like, come on, man. It's like, because it's almost like that high school mentality where they're like stuck in their high school minds, because then you can adapt and grow as you learn and get wiser with everything. You tend to
Yeah.
explore yourself and experience things. But it's just like they have that high school mind of, hey man, I want to go for the cheerleader. When mindset was, hey, if the cheerleader likes me, cool. She doesn't, that's fine. Then I could go over here to this girl and see who likes me. You know what I'm saying? Or have that compatibility with. I'm not just constantly chasing like this one thing. If you combat with somebody and if you love somebody like your husband does you, and I think that's beautiful
Yeah.
right there, like then go for it. Like you mentioned, have a set of balls to do it, but also at the end of the day, too, you're missing out if you don't go for it and try it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing too is like, I wouldn't be in this industry if it wasn't for my husband. So like before I got into this, it's funny because I'm in an oversized crop top right now, but growing up, I the rule for me was you cover your boobs, butts, and bellies. Everything had to be covered. And so stepping out and being like, okay, yeah, like I'm going to wear a crop top and starting small. And then now it's like, screw it. I'm just going to wear shorts and a sports bra to go run an errand and stuff. I mean, that is definitely nothing compared to what I don't wear at the club. You know what I mean? Like we wear pasties, and thongs. And I now wear a thong bikini in the summertime because I don't care. Like, it's so encouraging to see other women just in general being like, you know what, who cares, wear what you want to wear. And back on the chatterbait thing, I wear nothing. I'm fully exposed on all of my streaming and my content, so it has definitely been an adjustment, but I love it. I think it makes me love myself more. I'll see something that I would typically think is a flaw and fall in love with it because it makes me unique.
I gotta say, first and foremost, we'll get to the chatterbait in a second here, because this one over here, my goodness gracious, man. Number one, you definitely know how to put on a show. And number two, very vibrant and very communicative, and we'll get to that in a second here. But I have to mention what you just said there. I've always been above this knowledge and that was overall adage that we hear so much in our lifetime. If you got it, flaunt it, number one. And number two, I think in today's day and age, I think people don't even realize it when it's adult content or just the overall how we view sex and how we view our overall sex appeals and what we like, and not to shame it. I think the BBW category, the plus size models, have become such a great variety and such a popular category just because of the fact that we get to see women like yourself and so many beautiful women out there just going out there, like you mentioned, in the thongs, that thong, the thong, 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 to quote Cisco. It's one of those things where it's just like, okay, let's rock with it. Let's see where it goes. I think there's more to the level of attraction as well, besides the external beauty. I think it's internal beauty. And number two, I think it's overall, just the overall package of confidence and overall intelligence. And I've always said this about people who do adult entertainment or people that strip or just do anything of the nature. It's people always think that, okay, that's all that they're good for. That the intelligence is lacking in that which is the most crude and rude thing I've ever heard. Because at the end of the day, too, number one, we're human beings, but number two, we got some smart sons of guns like yourself doing what they do, and they know how to accumulate money, they know how to accumulate product, and they also know how to satisfy and be kind to the clientele, because that's what you're doing. You're doing a service, but you're also in a weird way telling a story with the subtleties, the intricacies, and nuances to what you do on said pole and what you do within your cam work.
Yeah. I honestly couldn't agree more. Now it's been a while since I've been at the club. I had a mouth surgery, but I think it's calling me back. I think that for anybody who is wanting to start out and in the Omaha area, I think that American Dream is a good foot in the door. I think that, like you said, it's not just, people think that when we walk out of the house and we're wearing a thong bikini or something, like, that they would sexualize in their mind, like, oh, why are they wearing this or something like that. We don't wear that stuff to be sexualized. We don't wear, we're not I guess, I don't know how to say it, but we're not trying to be used. We just want to feel confident. That's it. We just want to be ourselves. And, that's kind of.
No, I think you said it bluntly and clearly. I'll even add on to your point to go on to what you were saying, and I think you said this greatly, and you definitely know how to say it, by the way, because that was perfectly blunt and to the point. But at the same time, too, you're not objects. You are not people's objects. You're human beings. And I've always looked at it from a stance like this. You have to do that. It's like I've always looked at it and equated it to like this. Say you're in high school, or say you're just whatever you are in your life. If your father or anyone in your family works in an office building or they do corporate stuff, that's cool. But don't put down the person who is working as like a janitor in a school, because that job is as much important as what you do. Because what janitors do, they make sure the desks are clean, they make sure the bathrooms are clean, they make sure that the kids are safe, as well as the teachers and the faculty. So I think with any line of work and what people do to accumulate money and equate it as a business entity and brand, don't put people down for what they want to do within their life choices and their business. As long as it's safe, as long as it's spectacular, and as long as it's something that's legal and overall going to lead you to your own fruitions, just let them do their jobs and do what you do.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I actually, when I first started this stuff, I was very quiet. I was very protect my image in a sense. And now I'm just like, you know what? Yeah, I do this. And I'm fine with it. I have a partner who is like, you know what? Go do what you want to do. I will be here when you're done, and we'll go do our own thing. My biggest thing in this is I have 2 daughters, and I sure as hell am not going to raise those 2 girls to be self-conscious or worry about man's opinion or woman's. You're going to go do your own thing because you want to and you're happy with yourself. And that is what I'm trying to instill in them as they grow older. And I have to be a prime example of that for them. So that's kind of, my platform in a sense as a mom, and, my take on that.
First and foremost, number one, shout out to all the moms, including this one. And number two, that's actually going to be my follow-up about the motherhood side. I think when you have 2 daughters, like you mentioned, and they're growing up in this world, and I got to tell you, this world, compared to how we grew up, and a lot of us grew up millennials, or even some of the later Gen Zs to Gen Alpha, it's a crazy world with social media, and the political and social climate is very crazy for a lot of people right now. So I think if you're doing something like what you're doing with your positive mindset and your overall open-mindedness, and how the way that you teach and let your child be their child and overall grow to the evolution of the beautiful beings that they are, if you teach them the right way, especially right now, I think they're going to go further, and they're going to have fruition, and they're going to have tact within the rest of their lives. But number two, you're letting them be independent, you're letting them be themselves. And I think that's what that's all that they could really ask for, besides that unconditional love.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think, a prime example of that for me, and like a lot of people know my story, but I actually left a abusive relationship. And, I think, back on the whole kids thing, that's the first step that I took, and, never was allowed to be myself. And now it's like, you step away from that and I can be myself. I can create whoever I want to be, and so I'm finding out more and more of who that person is, because I guess I would say I was a hermit crab, and I didn't have a voice and couldn't say what I wanted, or, and I don't want to be that for my kids or any other kids, who potentially could look up to me in the future or something like that. So, that's my thing, is giving women a voice and also encouraging our plus size girls to get out there more. So that's my take.
I will say this. I see you on this as I'm doing this, because from one hermit crab to another, I get you wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
But no, no, I've been there. And I'll even say this to add to your point, because I think this is very telling, and it's definitely, we need to have these conversations. But
Mm-hmm.
I was the same shy kid too, so I get it. Stepping out of your comfort zone and getting confident. This podcast, this platform, and just in general, even in life experience, you get to know, express yourself more, and you don't realize. And I've always learned this quote: you exist to inspire, number one, but number two, you're being the best representation of your presentation. You represent yourself well and present yourself well, because you never know who you're going to resonate and generate and who you're going to inspire. But also at the same time too, a lot of people feel that their voice doesn't matter, but I'm like, your voice definitely does, because if you put yourself out there, if you speak what you speak and feel what you feel, that is the best form of creativity, number one, but that's also the great form of who you are and how you stay true. And a lot of people can resonate with that message. So you're giving a message in anything that you do.
Well, thank you. I truly appreciate your take on that, and, the support for the platform.
Of course. It's one of those things too, where you look at it from a stance like this, and we'll get into the chatterbait portion of this, because my goodness gracious, y'all, if y'all have not, I got to tell you right now, you're definitely showcasing that sexiness, man. But when it comes to the shows, I think a lot of people don't even realize, like with cam modeling, OnlyFans, ManyVids, and Fansly's, and all these different platforms, you build a community with what you're doing, and people would like to see not only just the nakedness and the sexiness and the vibes, if you will, but you're building community and a fan base within what you do. And people maybe want to check on these shows. People may want to see what you want to do, content wise, and see what they want to do solo work or this or that. So you're amplifying yourself and you're turning the volume up. But what you're also doing is you're bringing people in, maybe bringing people together, but you're also making people open up to maybe stuff that they never thought that they would be into. You're really showcasing and uniquing people's preferences.
Yeah, when I first started Chatterbait, I had no idea what it was. I barely watched porn, I don't mind saying that, but it kind of expanded my own horizon, because I started off by getting on there and watching what other girls do. Kind of setting a variety of like, okay, like I'm into that. And I guess it gave more options of, hey, I could try that. I don't know what I'm doing, but I could try that. And so I started streaming, I would say in December of 2024. And it got to a point where like I'd get on and not get on, like very like it was one of those where it was like hard to get on because I wasn't happy with myself. And then I've started to progress more on getting on and finding different outfits, finding different business approaches to it. So it has been an experience, I guess. I think sometimes it's fun. Yeah, sometimes I get on with my husband, like you said. And yeah, it's wild because people will give you your tokens, and request you to do certain things. You'll have a menu of whatever you want on there. And I think my most popular one is shaking my ass on there. They want to see the arch, the view from the back. So that is a popular demand. Also, my Snapchat is really popular on there. They really dig that because then they can go into more personal content, kind of the girlfriend experiences with that. And I kind of offer all of that on Chatterbait, and the 18 Life Fun is the one that I've been on most recent. But yeah.
I got to tell you, first and foremost, shout out to your partner for the lifestyle choice. I mean, we've seen the video. I've seen the videos. I got to tell you, besides doing research for this and really getting to just talk about different lifestyles with
Yeah.
you, I'm watching this and I'm like, okay, we got solo stuff, and I'm like, hey, and I appreciate that because you see a lot of content creators even involve like their spouse or anything like that. It showcases lifestyle, and also shows, and shout out to him for just like, okay, these people want to see this. Let's go. Let's get into this because again, you're fulfilling that sweet, sweet fantasy. But number two, it's something that people will pay for and check out, man. You know, the clientele is the clientele.
Yeah, like there have been a lot of people that particularly find it hot that I'm married. A lot of people actually at the club, they like that. They like the hot wife or the, kind of the girl next door kind of thing. And I mean, they dig it. And so, finding a balance between personal life and work life, it's hard, because there's times where it literally does go together. And so any time that I can include him, or like, it's just fun. Our sex life is great. I have no complaints there at all. And I think that also inspires me to step out of my comfort zone, in all aspects. So
Also, number one, it just tells how much he loves you, and number two, it's a healthy lifestyle. Like you need that because it's just that's what true love and true passion is. But also at the same time, too, to add to your point, and I'll make a pop culture reference that'll make everybody laugh here. When you talk about like not first of all, I've gotten that a lot of talent I've interviewed on this platform. Some of them barely have watched porn, and I'm like, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? You find it later in life. There's so much stuff to really get into for different eras of porn, especially now. Like I remember when I was a 13-year-old kid and the first ever website I came across, again, puberty, folks, it kicks in hormones. We all know this. This is health class 101 here. Yeah. Like I remember when I first saw there was this website back in the day called girlshuntinggirls.com. Now the premise of this was they would be in the van and they would pick up girls and then they go back to whatever house it was and you'd see girl on girl or girl on girl on girl. But that was like some of the early premises. I'm like, okay, it's basic storyline of just, okay, pick up this hot girl. We're going to vibe in the van. We go back to the house. Sex scene exudes and it really follows after that. So that's basic and that's common stuff that people are into this day as we're talking about this 20 plus years later. But I think when you briefly get into porn and you're kind of like the 40-year-old virgin with Steve Carell, and then here comes Paul Rudd in, and he's like, here it is, Boner Jams 03. These are some of the scenes that I was really into in the summer of 2003. And then you have Steve Carell like, I don't want this big giant box of porn. I'm just another guy giving a big giant box of porn. So you're in that level of just trying to find yourself within the porn. But then once you watch it, whether in different avenues of however you want to identify it as, you get into it. So you're kind of like a late bloomer, but it's still cool.
Yeah, I think it's fun because it adds a little keeps my innocence there, that thing that draws the men in. It's like, okay, well, I need to know more about you, like, because I'm like, I don't really know if I'm gonna do that content. I've never done it before. And they're like, oh, let's try, I'll pay you more for it. Because it's funny because all these girls who are worried about not being experienced enough, some of these guys like it. They want to be your first experience. They want to be, the first for a lot of things, and it's fun.
Oh, absolutely. And I look at it from a stance like, too, and I'm going to say this since you talk about your assets, pun intended, the bootylicious vibes. I mean, here's the thing. A simple shaking of the ass or a simple, just dare I say, honky-tonk, badonka-donk that goes into all of this stuff. A lot of people like that. We could go to the Miss New Booty route, booty, 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 rocking everywhere, Bubba Spark style. But at the same time, too, it's just the simplest of things. And I'll say this right now. I've seen your content. You definitely have the booty for that booty earthquaking. So it definitely translates and resonates, and I mean that with the utmost respect. You got it going on from that.
That's funny that you say that because one of the first night that I worked there, the DJ, great people at American Dream, they I like the old school style, you know, the porn star dancing, the thunderstruck, but also too, like, I'm very cliche. I love the cliche stripping, like, you know, you think of Coyote Uglies and like burlesque, and like, I love that. But I was transitioning into my second song and they played Honky Tonk, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, come on. And they're like, come on, country girl. Like, and so the next time that I danced, I had to make sure I was like, that's not the only person I am. Like, there's more to Kendall other than the country.
Hey, I'll be honest with you. It's funny. Okay, we're gonna talk about this because you got me laughing about this. And first of all, shout out to country music. Shout out to all music. It's a great art form. There's such a variety.
Yep.
And I think you could agree with me. I'm very eclectic with my tastes, so you have to be eclectic with everything. But I remember the first time I heard that song, and I'm like, honky tonk, but donk it donk. Like, I get it, but also to your stance, I wanted to comment on the Coyote Ugly part. Like, everybody, when they think of Coyote Ugly, one of the things I always talk about is Leanne Rhymes, that infamous song "Can't Fight the Moonlight." But Piper Parabo does an amazing job. Tyra Banks is in it. It gets to show like all she wants to do is dance. That infamous stuff that they do on the bar and the dancing. But
Yep.
that stuff is so cool because that was another thing that socialized and entertained from the sexy pale side of vibes. But also, it was funny because you really got an insight of the bar life, so to speak. So you're
Yep.
incorporating a lot of things.
Yeah, I was just hanging out with one of my dancer friends, Michaela, last night, and we were talking about inspiration. And I don't think that you can go into this industry without having some type of inspiration. So mine, I would say the Coyote Uglies, and you know, having like, you have to at least watch something to inspire you to get on that pole. And for me, like Coyote Ugly, burlesque, all of that kind of was like, damn, I should try that. But I don't know. I think I don't necessarily have a set style yet. I kind of cling more to the punk rock look when I'm dancing. Um, but I'm not set in stone. I think I'm still trying to figure out where Kendall fits in.
My goodness. First of all, shout out to the punk rock chicks. I like your style. Okay, now I look at it like this. You could just go up there and somebody puts on Paramore, Crush, Crush, Crush. You know, nothing compares to a quiet evening alone. Like a lot of stuff like that vibes, that beat gets you dancing. Like a lot of stuff, you never know what you're going to translate with and really get down to. Like we mentioned, Miss New Booty. You can put 50 Cent on in the club. You could put on Nelly. You could put on anything. It's something that has that vibes that really sets that inspiration. Like you talk about having inspirations with anything, but also I think a lot of people don't even realize too. Like you mentioned the burlesque vibes. There is some elegance and there's overall poise and there is some discipline to what you do. I mean, people will think that's a
Mhm.
weird analogy, but there is elegance and poise to how you really work everything.
Yeah, there is. I would say my go-to artist for uh, dancing, just in general, to get in the mood, get in the mindset, is T Pain. I would say, you know, that would be my go-to for that.
Okay, so now, all right, now you're going to pique my interest on this. So I'm curious because as a fellow T Pain fan, I still have Elephant and everything from that album on my playlist. I got to ask you, what T Pain song of choice?
Shit. I would say booty work. Anything like, I just any ass shaking music. I've taught my kids, shake your butt, just have fun with it. Like, that's really all it is. Whatever kind of music makes you move, go for it.
Now let me see that booty work, booty work, booty work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Anyone knows that the first time they played that song in the club when I was working there, because I was like, "Can you guys please play this song?" Because I was nervous as shit. I was shaking. I was like, I do not want to be number one on the list because that means that I'm the first dancer. So I was like number four, and I could just like feel it. And so that was the first. transition song that they gave me, and I was like, all right, you know, I can vibe with this. Then they're like, okay, there's Kendall.
I mean that. Give me some buy you a drink. Give me some bartender.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you even want to look at it, I'm sprung, or I'm in love with the stripper. She riding that pole, and I'm in love with the stripper.
Yeah.
Oh,
I like to make people laugh too. Like the songs that you don't think that people would strip to, give me it because I'm about to make you laugh. Like we're not just there to stare at women. Like no, because I've seen like, and this is funny, we all laugh together when shit happens, but I'm not necessarily the most graceful. I'm learning.
okay.
I'm not the most graceful. Um and one night it was a night of a concert at American Dream. And I'm going to porn star dancing, whatever, and the stage got a little slippery, needless to say, and I busted my ass. And we all have those moments, but it's about laughing together and just okay, I'm down on the floor. I'm just gonna pick up a dollar bill, shake my ass, and get back up there. But you know, Kendall is not the most graceful on the stage, but I can guarantee to make people laugh and have a good time.
It's all about entertainment, and that only just accentuates you more just for how fun and vibrant you are. So that
The entertainment isn't specified. There's no fine print when you walk in that door. Maybe that's why there's no cover charge. You don't know what you're going to run into, man.
so what you're pretty much telling me is they got porn star dancing playing there. We're talking about Nickelback and porn star dancing. Woo wee. So you kind of like take the little
Hey.
bump, so to speak.
Hey, there you go. You might get a souvenir of a heel kick off the stage. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I'm learning and the music. I'm expanding my genres and knowledge on different music. So yeah, we'll see what I dance to in the future.
Well, I will say this. I cannot wait to see what you do in the future, and your journey is definitely worth taking. And I have to mention this as well, because if y'all are not following this one on Instagram, I got to tell you, great follow. You put up a lot of great photos and just showcases your personality and character. But I got to tell you, man, there's these photos on. You're very welcome. There's a photo of you just like, I got to say, just your overall outfits, the lingerie. You have different great styles and things. But one thing that definitely caught my eye, man, I got to tell you, if you're leaning up against a car and I get to see this face on here, the photo shots of you on the car just doing everything. It's very, I got to tell you something. Tawny Katane, God rest herself, move over, White Snake. I got to tell you, definitely on the car.
Yeah, that was with my husband's truck. He loves his truck. Anybody who knows him or who has met him in passing with what I do, they know that he loves his truck. He loves his gym. And I was like, you know what? Let me make some content with your truck. And I'm going to do it butt ass naked. And I think that picture that you're referring to really showed me that I don't need to cover myself to be happy. And I, was so self conscious up until that point. And then I get excited to send him the pictures first. And I'm like, look what I did with your truck. Like I turned into a kid. I'm like, look at this. But no, I feel like those were probably my favorite, most recent pictures that I did. They were in the middle of a random park. There's more to that content that will be uploaded soon, and more to come.
I cannot wait to see it. And now the other things I do have to mention again, if you're not checking her out on the Twitter game, I will promote the socials at the end, but I got to tell you, this is definitely great material. I love the material of just the fact that, first of all, you mentioned a great lady by the name of Jamie Schroeder, aka Red Royal. Just had her on the show recently.
Yeah.
Beautiful soul, writes great poetry. Gotta say, her and her own vibe, real deal sex appeal in her own way. But I gotta tell you, there is this video on there, a little girl on girl action with you too.
Yeah.
I gotta, man, great chemistry when it comes to just overall in the club doing your thing. But I gotta say, on camera, I gotta tell you, sexy vibes, man. Two beautiful women doing their thing.
Yeah, it's so funny. I would say that if you're going to experiment, because that was my first literal girl on girl, do it with somebody that you feel comfortable with and you trust. That is the most important thing. We had a great film team. Mr. Chambers and his wife. I know she talks about him in the podcast, AJ, and they are great. I felt so comfortable. They're so goofy. They're very, I would say, Jamie and them, they're very eccentric. They're unique. They are, what the average person would call odd, but I love it. They did Orgy of the Dead 2, and I watched that, and my God, Jamie and that, Stephanie as well. Just a great environment. I went to the movie premiere for that in Omaha, and it's such a welcoming community. The queer community is so welcoming. They don't care what kind of vibe you have, as long as you're positive and encourage other people. And meeting the connections through them has been wonderful. Jamie has been such a godsend with learning new things at the club, shooting content with her. It's been fun. It's just been overall fun.
I got to tell you, it definitely was fun to see that as well. No, I'm straight up and down, man. I think that over exceeds it. And I think what also exceeds, like you mentioned, the Orgy of the Dead, and I had this discussion with Jamie. Her, Stephanie Love, shout out to Stephanie and so many great people. I'm glad to see you got to be at the premiere. I think watching that movie promotes the overall, dare I say, sensuality, fun. And number one, who doesn't love a good zombie film? Anything to
right.
I look at it from a stance like this, and you said something so poignant there. When you look at the LGBT community, the queer community, if you will, I think in today's society, and I'll say this bluntly to anybody, and I'll say this just in general. First of all, people, number one, and excuse my language, and I know this is my show, but I'm going to try not to curse, but this is the one time I got to let it out. Don't fucking dehumanize people, number one. And number two, we are all human beings. Doesn't matter the sexual orientation, doesn't matter what your ethnicity and your background is. We are all people. We're all human beings. Love one another, because there's too much of this in this world. We have to be more united, not divided. Just wanted to say that because you made a great point with the non-judgment of the queer community.
Yeah, and I just want to give a shout out too, specifically to Izzy, because Izzy's the one who did a lot of the makeup, and I follow her on Instagram, and I've messaged her for makeup tips, and I'm like, what do I do? Like, I'm going to be working in the heat and the sweat and the whatever. And, she's who did a lot of the makeup for Orgy of the Dead, and just the collaboration between all of them, and, starting to work with them, moving forward, it's just a great environment to be around.
Shout out to Izzy and everybody on the presentation. I say this with anybody. It takes two to tango, even more to tango. I think everybody involved in the presentation, from the makeup and everything, definitely deserves their kudos and respect. And because I gotta say, it's a team effort. And as they say, teamwork makes the dream work. And the other thing I have to mention as well with the content vibes here, because I got to tell you this, if you've not, again, checked their photos, I urge you, go out of the way and see this amazing human being. I got to tell you, man, there's a lot of, and this is a very popular genre and category, so I figure we touch upon this as well. Man, people love some good foot content, man. There's a photo. You got slut written on your foot. You're doing a lot of the foot content out there, number one. But number two as well, like we mentioned, the BBW category and the kinks and everybody that has their unique preferences, people love the feet content.
They do. And honestly, like, I think initially I was just kind of like, okay, sure, like, I'll do my toes. But now it's to the point where it's like, you know what? Everybody's into their own thing. I kind of dig it. I always have my toes done, except right now I need to do them for the 4th of July. But yeah, it's fun. The foot content is something that you can literally do on the go. Anything, step on food. Take a picture at the store, hang my feet out the window. I'm kind of doing it all. I need to do a better job of uploading more content with it. But yeah, it's fun because it's different, I think.
Absolutely is. And I mean, I think like we touched upon, it's like you never know where people are into. And first of all, God bless America with the friggin' 4th of July job on the toes. I like your style. Okay, God bless America. All right now. But I look at it as well. Like I remember back in 2007, MTV, as we all know, True Life was very big with the documentary side on MTV. They even did a documentary on True Life on the Dominatrix. And I got to say, I always use this comparison because people like the Dom life and the sub life. And I think a lot of people don't even realize, number one, how popular that is, but number two, like the overall safe words and everything that they do that goes into that. So it gave a good depiction of what that's about. So I equate it to like how people view Dom vibes, how people view foot vibes. They kind of like group them like, okay, that's a little weird, but if you're into what you're into, but at the end of the day, too, just let your freak flag fly. That's the main thing. Do you?
Yeah, I think growing up, because I'm only 26, so growing up and seeing the 50 Shades of Grey come out, and as a kid being told don't watch that, being sheltered, which thank God that I was at that time. But watching it as an adult of this, it's like an idea of a dom sub relationship, and I think that there's more to it than what you're seeing in the movies. There's different dynamics, there's different extremes of it. And, I've had conversations with some of my friends about, the content that I do versus my personal life. And some people can take it to an extreme, and some people can be like, okay, I don't really do that in my personal life. I just do it for content. So it's fun to see the different dynamics and the openness of people who actually talk about it. I don't think that it's something that you should be shy about. I definitely am not shy about that stuff anymore. So
I think it's great that you've come out of your shell, number one. But number two, look at it like this. Like we touched upon, taking yourself and your character and being and amplifying it and turning the volume up. You could also do a funny way. You could say, okay, this is me. I have this vanilla thing. I'm a normal day human being. But by night, and add that little vibe to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can have a little taste to it,
Yeah. So anybody looking through my Instagram and stuff, it's like, oh, okay, we got this sweet Nebraska girl, and then I'm like, hey, go over to my Twitter, go over to my OnlyFans, and then they're like, alrighty then.
We had this comparison. I'm going to bring this up because you and I messaged about this. I think this is the perfect opportune time to mention this. I joked. I said it's like the Hannah Montana. You get the best of both worlds, man.
Yeah, I do. It's fun. It's like I have an alter ego, but in reality, it's just bringing out who I truly want to be. So there is no in between. I can be comfortable, being Kendal or, being the other, but I love it. I love the fun of putting on here's a mom on a day-to-day basis. If you catch me, anybody who knows this in Omaha, I guess, when I run into people and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm typically wearing a t-shirt and leggings, and then when Kendall's going out, because she is going out. I always say this, when the day comes, I'm gonna go out in style.
I will say this, and I'll have to send you this music video because the song is a vibe. So there was a song that came out in the States. The song was originally done in the UK in 1998, but the original song came out in 2000. So there was this UK artist by the name of Sonique, right? So one of her infamous songs it called is "Your Love It Feels So Good, and That's What Takes Me High." And so the video is she works at like the diner or she works at a restaurant by day, but by night is what her actual job in real life is. She's a DJ. So it's like, you know what, I work here day, work hard all day, and then at night I'm a DJ and I'm in the club. That's what it is, day and night, man.
Yeah. It's crazy because a lot of these girls that, are stripping, we think going into it, who have never danced and, who go in to watch these girls, that this is their only job. Now, there are some women who it is their only job, like me, content creation and whatever. But there are also girls that are working their asses off as nurses, as teachers, as all of this. And, you know, I think it goes to show that, on a day to day basis, that these jobs, they just don't pay. You work your ass off and you still have all these bills that you have to pay. So, um, one of my friends, Michaela, that she dances at American Dream, bless her heart, she works her ass off. I wonder when she gets sleep. Like, I'm like, you're at the club 1 second and then you're doing this another second. And so the diversity of occupations is, a lot of these girls aren't just strippers or dancers.
I gotta say, first of all, shout out to Michaela. I admire the dedication and the passion there. Shout out to Michaela, much love. But that's the thing too. You have to do that, like we mentioned earlier. Like the grind never stops. And I mean, I remember interviewing a talent here on this show. Like she used to be a lawyer, and then she's like, you know what, I don't want to be a lawyer anymore. And she got into this field and did adult content and content creation. I mean, you never know. You never know. People work their asses off in so many different industries, and they definitely deserve to reap the rewards of that, man. They definitely do.
Absolutely.
And speaking of absolutely, absolutely, and positively, Miss Kendal Grae, put that on a T-shirt. Absolutely and positively, Kendal Grae. I have to say
Yeah.
this. I have to say this to you. You are an absolute delight to talk to, and you're an absolute
Thank
pleasant
you.
and lovely human being. You're welcome. I love to have you back on for a round two. This has been a blast today.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate the platform to be able to kind of tell a little bit about myself.
Of course. And now, final question I have before I have you promote the social medias. You kind of gave a great overview, if you will, in today's platform of doing what you do as far as the stripper like content creation, everything. Two questions I love to ask. Number one, what advice would you give to someone who wants to get into the stripping form or the content creation? And number two, what are some of the things that you're grateful for? And when I ask that question, I always say it could be within this life or what you're doing within your content creation and stripping.
Sure. Advice I would give to stripping, like for stripping, is it doesn't matter what size you are. Um, it matters about, your confidence and how you treat other people. Because if you want to get into stripping, you don't be shady, don't be mean, because there's girls take that to heart. I mean, we're women, we're wired that way. Um, I would also say is find your inspiration. Find somebody that you can talk to who's in the industry who can give you advice. Because if I wouldn't have done that, I don't know, Kendall would be a hot mess. Um, so I would say, yeah, be happy with yourself, love yourself, and that. I would say that I'm grateful for a few things. My partner has been amazing. He comes and throws dollar bills at me, and he gets his own private lap dances in his own time. But um, no, I'm truly grateful for him, and him uh, encouraging me to do this stuff and to love myself. Um, he has definitely taught me a lot. Um, I would say I'm grateful for um, American Dream and giving me that platform, that first, you know, really like that whole they American Dream Girls, that's what they're called, and that's truly what it is if you have a dream to get on a stage, go there, to start. And they're great. They're a great team there. And Jamie and AJ and his wife, they're amazing. I'm so grateful for them because they've also given me other connections of people to work with, and that's been amazing. I couldn't have asked for a better community of support.
Living the American dream and believing in that American dream. And shout out to all those amazing people, including yourself. There's a lot of great people in this world, and you definitely exude and accentuate that. And before we close this out, Miss Kendall Grae, not only do you want to let us see your booty work, but can you let us know where we can follow you on all forms of social media?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram is Kendall GNE. And then that's pretty much between my, X, Twitter, or whatever they call it anymore. Even Facebook, I have Facebook and TikTok.
Links will be in the description below. All definitely worth the follow. And don't even apologize with X and Twitter, whatever they call it. I still call it Twitter, and I'll tell you why. And again, it's not for like a political thing for everybody goes, no, dirt. No, it's because, look, when I think of X, and again, as a music lover, and as you are a music lover, as we all are music lovers, all I think is X to the Z exhibit. I think of DMX, X going to give it to you. Like, I can't unsee like X. I can't call something X, but then you also, when you think of X, it goes into triple X, and then people are going to have.
See, that's what I think of. The minute I hear X, I'm like, is someone going to think I'm talking about porn? And I was like, well, I guess what I get. That's what I get working in the industry.
Look, Elon Musk has a infatuation with the letter X. And look, you know what it kind of equates to me? But he was a legendary artist, and God rest his soul. It's like when Prince was like the artist formerly known as Prince, and he went by the symbol. That actually stood for something back in the day with music and history, and how he wanted artists to get paid and artists in general. There's some historic meaning and symbolism behind that. His infatuation with X is probably one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. Like, I get X, but it's just like there's double entendres and meanings behind that. Anyway, I digress. I don't mean to go on a rambling.
Maybe I should add it to my Kendal GNEX.
Well, you should in a way too. I mean, a lot of people do. Well, here, look at it like this. Look at like X's and O's, hugs and kisses. You can even look at them that way.
Yep.
It works. It works. We got some marketing campaigns going here. So if you want to check out yours truly, it's SM Show 1 or MCL92 on the Twitter front, and Larkin_92 MLarkinMB on Instagram, and subscribe to S&M Network shows for all your On the Mic with Mike and all other content and great show needs. Kendal, Grae, do you have any final words before we close this thing out to your people, to your fans, to your supporters?
Come follow me. We're bound to have a good time. There's some new content that's about to come out. Just looking to have a blast. The Midwest is not just cornfields.
But what she's saying, folks, and I think you'll love this reference, I'll make a Full House reference, because Rebecca Donaldson, who was married to John Stamos' character, Jesse Katsopoulos, she was from Nebraska, so it's not just corn-fed. It's a lot of real-deal sex appeals. And I got to tell you, Lori Loughlin still looks great at her age, so that's definitely a lovely compliment for women like yourself and the fine people of Nebraska.
Right.
Yes, but I got to tell you, I'll support Kendal, Grae, and support all these amazing women and just beautiful women doing their thing in this world. And as I always say to close this out, not just my mindset, but just my overall feelings about women in general. Beauty, strength, and dominance, the three key elements that make women the work of art that they are. Miss Kendal, Grae, I include you in those sentiments. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Come talk to me. I love the way you're on to me. Looking at you, looking like you're wondering if we're here for the same reason. And now that you wanna lay in the sun, getting love drunk, sticking like honey. Yeah, I bet you're here for some fun with that someone, feeling that something. If you're looking for a good time, honey, I'm right here. If you're looking for the good life, good vibes, honey, I'm right here. And I'm waiting for you. And I love you in your summer skin. Looking at you, looking like you're into it. 'Cause we're here for the same reason. Yeah, I just wanna lay in the sun, getting love drunk, sticking like honey. Yeah, 'cause I'm just here for some fun with that someone, feeling that something. That's something. If you're looking for a good time, honey, I'm right here.